2 days after the so-called ceasefire, we heard that the US and Saudi Arabia, they confiscated 17 ships that were packed with food and fuel that were sent for Yemen. They'd all been inspected by the United Nations. They got their permits after being checked for weapons. So needless to say, if they really cared about tackling coronavirus, they would have not only allowed those ships to dock at Hudaidah port, but they would have cooperated with aid organizations as well. If anything, the Saudis appear like they're trying to spread coronavirus in Yemen based on their actions, which are extremely suspicious. So firstly, they started airdropping boxes containing face masks, which then alarmed the Yemeni health ministry, because why would the Saudis care about Yemeni lives given the actions that they've committed? And secondly, the Saudis have been carrying out mass arrests in all of their cities and rounding up migrant workers, then amassing them in giant camps along the Yemeni border. Why would they do that at a time of coronavirus? And more importantly, why is the United Nations not condemning them for this? The United Nations is really not helping, to put it mildly. Just 3 days ago, they announced that they were cutting food aid to northern Yemen by half, even after acknowledging that it's the worst humanitarian crisis on earth, as they've done for the past few years. They say it's because they don't have the money, but it could just be that they're bowing to pressure from the US-Saudi occupation. The US justification for cutting aid to Yemen as well, on top of that, is that the food is reaching areas under Houthi control. But those areas are where 80% of Yemen's population are, and that's where all the starvation is as well. So quite simply, food aid is being used as a weapon to force Yemen to surrender. Quitting Yemen is probably the best thing for Saudi Arabia right now. The Saudis spend $200 million every day, and that's a total of $365 billion over the past 5 years. And despite spending all that money, they're losing. They've lost territory in Ma'rib, as you mentioned. Also, oil prices have collapsed from $60 to $20 a barrel over the past 4 months. And given that the Saudis rely on that one commodity to pay for everything, there will be pressure internally for them to cut their losses and finally quit Yemen.